Hello and welcome back to the Pride Pod here on Loud and Proud Orlando. I am your host, John Rollins, and I'm here with my co host, Luis Carlos Pineda, to talk everything Orlando Pride. Luis, it's Tuesday, but this time we're going to be talking playoffs. An exciting time in the season has arrived. Of course, it's been an incredible regular season, but now it's time for playoffs. How you feeling?
Well, I feel great. I feel historic. I think every single Orlando Pride and Orlando City fan, as well as anybody that just loves the sport of soccer that lives in Central Florida, should feel very proud on what this Pride team has accomplished. Setting records, and having the pundits talk about the team and putting the picture of Marta on some of the flyers, and it's been quite an eventful 2024 for the Pride, for sure. Historic, massive. And I think there's good takes, and there's good things and also things to improve out of this Seattle game that we'll discuss. We're going to be talking about reviewing the Seattle game today. As well, we will talk about the retirement of Mega Montefusco, and also season-ending injury for Rafa. And then we'll be talking about playoffs, and then the Red Stars. We're going to preview the Red Stars, and we'll talk about lineup and predictions today, John. So, but overall, I think it's been a great season for the Pride. I think there's a lot of things clicking, especially offensively. We'll discuss the actual game with Chicago.
Yeah, I mean, last week we talked about how obviously, losing two games and needing to reset before the playoffs, and the Seattle game at home was going to be that perfect opportunity. It was fan appreciation night as well, so they're giving out gifts to people. Did you see? I don't know. You saw on the jumbotron, they would pick somebody out, in the crowd, and they like hold up. Oh, I got a sign. Someone got like a signed Ali Watt jersey. Someone got like a whole jersey signed by the whole team. So that was great to see. It was like a good atmosphere. The crowd was pumping despite the rain that was coming down. And the goals were flowing once again, Luis. 3-2. Obviously, we don't want the two, but the three, that's what we want to see from this team, getting the attacking flow that we maybe been lacking in the two games before. But it came back in this one. Let's get into the highlights, Luis, and go through these goals because there was some really beautiful moments of play throughout this match.
Yeah, for sure. First and foremost, kudos to the people that went to the game. That's we need to pack it out for this playoff game. Back to back soccer in Orlando this weekend, so everybody has to be there.
Luis,
Now,
you there?
yeah. Can you see? You
Yeah,
guys can.
I don't know. My internet went out for a second. I'm back.
Oh,
You're good. Yeah,
hold
put
on. Let me
the
let me
highlights up
let
for us.
me let me share real quick. I don't know why it's not coming on. Sorry.
You're good. It's good. Technical difficulties.
Okay, there you go. Uh,
Yeah.
so so let's start with Ali Watt, massive game. I think this is, to me, one of the best games she's played all season. It seems like she had a voice, and she was very vocal, and she had a wonderful performance overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, that's offside.
So that was disallowed, right?
Yeah, I mean, but what a flick by Banda. I mean, she is offside. You can tell by a
Yeah.
good, mark. I like a yard or so. It's just unlucky on the timing, but the
But I'll take
intent,
the
like you said, Luis, to be way
right.
more direct. Like just sometimes we need that. Get in that position. But Barbara also, I think, has a tendency sometimes to drift wide and not be
Mhm.
where she is right now. Like she needs to be that central pivot in the middle sometimes a bit more and be in the box and be in the right position when Allie's going up the field like this. So great start, just unlucky on the offside.
Yeah, it took Seattle by surprise.
Yeah.
Definitely, they seemed very in sync to make this game score a couple goals right in the first few minutes of the game. Even though this was disallowed, I take the run by Ali Watt and the 1v1 with a lot of skill and being able to find, her striker kind of open, but obviously offside. But, I think Ali did her job pretty well, in my opinion. And still, even though it was disallowed, I do want to highlight that she had a phenomenal run right there.
Great ball in. Fantastic ball in from Ali Watt.
Really reset after those two losses. Coach Hines also mentioning the international break kind of came at a good time. He mentioned after winning the Shield back on October 6th, as G gets through, wins the ball high up the field, gets it off to Haitama. Shot on goal goes wide.
I think those types of space.
Now, what do you think about, the back line in this game, John? I mean, because here it seems that they're a little bit like kind of, typically they'll look very compact, and here they look a little bit wider, they're kind of standing a little wide and leaving a couple of spaces, and obviously Seattle is a team that, yeah, they're very historic and all of that, but they're definitely not the powerhouse they used to be, right? So, and a
I do
better
think
skill,
we. Sorry, go ahead.
I mean, a better skilled team like maybe Kansas, or even Portland, could definitely capitalize on those type of chances.
I do think we've lost some edge defensively. I would say that. I think a little bit, but also I think it's more about how the midfield in this game I think was really controlling our midfield. I think that like the ability and the physicality for us, like Mondesir, number 30 for them, was stealing the ball away. Obviously, Ji So-yun is very very
Yeah.
good technical player on the ball. Olivia Athens was having a pretty good game as well. I just think they were performing better than Viv and Haley were. Like Haley was winning the ball back a lot, but we weren't possessing the ball in the midfield. Really, it was much more direct from us, which is fine. But I think that midfield battle we we're kind of losing out on at times, and I think that's what I saw, and I think that didn't help the defense. I think the defense obviously then is more exposed when you don't have, for example, we're more used when we have like Morgan in there, or like if Haley's sitting a bit deeper. I felt like we had kind of two midfielders that weren't really protecting the back line as much, and they were a bit more exposed. But also the back line, as we'll see, had their moments here where we had some defensive lapses, of course. I don't think we're as solid defensively as we were earlier in the season. That doesn't mean that we can't get back to that, like we can't grow into it, but we obviously took some hits against two big teams, and even a team like Seattle put a couple goals in. That means we definitely got some work to do there still.
Yep.
Difficult mid-season to totally regroup and
Now look at this run by Summer Yates, man. Just the level of.
the Orlando.
Now it was good to see Viviana Villacorta back, so especially in the starting lineup. But what are your thoughts on the goal?
I mean, beautiful ball
Take the 1-0 lead at
by
home.
Summer, of course. Allie, I think, is just, you said, oh, she was good, definitely going to score there. I would say we've seen a lot in this time of the season. Allie is 1v1, and she's not been clinical. Like, there are times where she just needs to bury it in the corner, or, and she often shoots right at the keeper or misses. So in this scenario, I was like, oh, please, Allie, don't miss. Like, don't,
Right.
and that's like not in a bad way, but it's just like the honest opinion I think a lot of fans have, is that she's not as clinical as she could be, because her speed is so lethal that she gets in positions, and she should score a lot more goals, in my opinion, than she does. So when she does this, it's like, oh, like that's exactly what you need to do. Sometimes, you might need to cross it, like in this scenario, and we've seen that, like she did with the first one for Banda. But also sometimes she's got to be brave and take it on. And when she does, this shot, around the keeper, it was beautifully executed, and that's what we want to see. Like that, if she can do that in the playoffs, she's a weapon if she starts or off the bench. And she's a very lethal weapon in this league with her speed and her ability to put the ball in the back of the net when she's performing like that.
Now, Ali said in the post press conference, which is on our YouTube channel, you guys can check it out. She said, and I quote, "I just remember Summer had the ball. I think it was Summer. Summer probably hits it long, straight to the line of the goal. Just make sure you put it on frame, Ali. That's what's all in my head. So, just put it on frame, and it worked out." That's what she said. So, now, again, the vision, she already knew when she had number 24 beat. She already knew Ali was there. I mean, you can tell by, like her head is completely up. She already knew that Ali was there, and she already knew and trusted Ali's speed and knew that she was going to make it there. So, phenomenal goal. But now we scored a goal. It was a 1-2 punch, bang, John. And then literally minutes after, they tied.
It wasn't even minutes, man. It was like I think the fourth official or something. They were still talking about the goal. Like I don't even know if they officially restarted. Like we didn't even know that they'd restarted. It was so fast.
Pass from Summer Yates is on another.
On the left.
Yeah. She has the good moments too.
Now you're looking at that's Emily, right? And Corey's out of position. I think she's with number 10.
Need to be closer together.
And yeah, it is. Just,
I think there's an example here of just like no one in the midfield picks up the run from Heizema. Like
you know where she was, and potentially the center.
Also, she is huge. Like she's so tall, and she doesn't even need to use her height in this one. It's a great finish. It is a great finish. I would like to maybe see Anna come out and try and challenge for that, based on the fact she can see that none of the players are anywhere near. You know what I mean? Like just a last second rush out for it, maybe. But also, we don't track the run of Heitzema. No one picks her up anywhere near the box. So
now I'll be honest with you, John.
Lapse, in my opinion,
there have not been a lot of defensive mistakes by Haley McCutcheon. If anything, I want to say that she's been one of the hearts of this team.
Yeah, I mean this is not
this is and obviously here I think she feels that Sierra King, she's very skillful, especially on the counter, on the 1v1, and she kind of feels like she needs to kind of
I think that's one of the center backs, isn't it? There, I think Haley's behind her here.
Really?
Yeah, I think that's
I
think it's Kylie getting back into position or something.
Yeah, but I think Haley goes into.
Haley's here, I think, behind.
Right, like you said, she doesn't see Witema coming.
Yeah,
and running, so she goes to aid Emily and Kylie, to mark that player that you see there, and kind of double team it. But then Witema has an pretty much open goal right there, completely unmarked.
Yeah, I think it's Haley who pointed to her, who's running behind her, like not in the picture, but like on the field. But yeah, anyway, regardless, we just didn't pick up Heitema on the run in the box, and she's open and free, and it's a great finish as well. So it all just happened so fast.
Playoffs, this could happen. I mean, you're playing the best teams in the league, so you have to. I'm glad at least to see that there was a response out of the Pride.
Mental, because you're almost in elation from scoring, but like this again, Sierra King does really well.
Yeah, it's Sierra King.
Quite critical of Jordan Heitema. Only 2 goals this year. That is such a
great
good ball.
cross,
and that's
and
a really good finish.
Well, you gotta say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, super.
I'm happy for Jordan Heitema, because as a centre forward, it's really hard for confidence when you're not.
Now, even if Carriabello would have gone to Heitema could have passed it to the other player that was completely unmarked. I mean,
she one-time volleys it across the goal to the corner.
As a centre forward, it's really hard for confidence when you're not scoring. Doesn't catch it perfectly, but who cares? It's in the back of the net, and Laura Harvey will be really delighted. Fantastic ball in.
Now, the commentators, man, they're like, Pride scores a goal, a second of analysis, like, oh, great ball, it was a great goal, guys, great goal. And then, when it comes to the Sierra, oh, it's a magnificent pass. Just look at the poise, the way that she curved the ball into Huaytema, and then she, it takes like freaking 30 seconds to comment on this goal, man. It's like, come on, man.
Sierra King right in
Nothing
that
new.
area.
Huaytema's third on the season. And her
Huaytema,
first
sorry.
since June.
You can see she's frustrated by the way she hit the one
Now,
before, but like I said, she continues to push, and she's just a top player. And I think we're blessed to have these types of players in the NWSL, because they could have gone anywhere.
What a drive by Ali Watt. Now, also, I do have to say that, the GOAT Marta, man, just being able to trust her teammates.
Because they could have gone anywhere.
Now, who was the left back of Seattle in this game? Because she got killed.
Hannah Glass.
Yeah, she got killed.
Watt turns
That's
on the
still
jet.
had a good game on the right back position.
Yeah.
It's crossed, still loose.
And Cariabello.
Cariabello buries it for Orlando. The Pride take a 2-1 lead.
Yeah, fantastic. Well deserved by Carrie. I mean, honestly, she's had a massive season. I think exponentially. I mean, we already saw how great she was last year. But this year it's been her coming out of her shell, as they say, right? And just kind of like she's a phenomenal back. I don't know. What are your thoughts on this role, Don?
Yeah, I mean, I think she knows what she's doing. Like, I mean, look at the way she gets into the box here, and then
very physical.
Hey, it's they reviewed it. I was shocked, because I was like, as soon as they reviewed it, I was like, oh, they're gonna call this back, because this is what we see time and time again. They review our goals all the time in NWSL. I don't know if we've got like a big, flag next to our name that says review everything that they do when it comes around the goal, but it's been all season like this. I mean,
people really don't like Disney, man.
I don't know what it is, bro, but this is not the first time that we've seen over analysis on a goal. This one maybe fairly, because it was like the player went down, but I think it's the right call, because Carrie comes in like, she doesn't. I think the player,
it's all ball,
backs into her, like trying to, protect it, and she muscles her off and wins the ball, and that's it. It's just a strength battle, and that's, I guess, what the ref saw, and then it's a great toe poked finish. I think if it is a foul, then they didn't call it.
Let's watch it right here. Let's see. Look,
they VAR'd it, so there's no doubt that they had the option to look at it, and they decided it wasn't a foul. I don't think it's a foul, but then in other leagues, like in MLS, maybe they'd call that a foul. Maybe in other games in NWSL, they'd call that a foul. It just depends on the ref and the VAR and the decision they take. I mean, I don't think she like pushed her. She just kind of came in with her arms down by her, shoulder barge, you would say, right? And the player did kind of, I think, back into her a bit. So yeah, I can see it just being.
Yeah, I think the intention was. I think the ref thought, hey, she wants to sell a foul.
Yeah, I mean, she does kind of a little bit, sort of.
Like
she doesn't like try to like hold her off the ball. She just immediately goes like, "Oh, she's coming in."
She's exaggerating. She's exaggerating the play, number one, and it's clear that Carrie, her eyes are not with the player. She just kind of quotation marks tackled. I
think she's trying to get her right foot around it, right?
Yeah, she wants to get the ball. Like, that's the whole point. I mean, she wants to get the ball, and I think the intent is that. Now, also you have to understand, the foot, it touches the defender. So in a way, it's an assist by the own defender. Like, if you look at it,
that's the argument there, is like the ball is in a 50-50 situation, and they're both reaching for it, and so
like even here,
you're trying to win the ball.
Like even here. Like, look at this take right here. You see, she just throws herself.
It was a bit of that as well. But hey, I mean, if they hadn't reviewed it, there could be some argument there. But they reviewed it and they decided not. So can't argue with that. The refs, the VAR, and
the opportunity to play for one of the best teams in the world, and she'll be coming back. She's only a loan.
Now it's a turnover. Good pressure on Marta. Kind of double teamed her, and that's what's going to happen at playoffs either way.
No, he's only alone, but to leave during that moment was difficult.
Adames into the area, shoots it wide.
That was a close one. Like, you know what I mean? And the backline was completely exposed here.
The world,
I
and
don't
she'll be
know.
coming back.
I don't know what
he's only
happened here. It
alone,
wasn't
But to leave during that moment,
like right there. It's like Carrie was too behind.
This is what I mean here. Is like we had no coverage.
Yeah, Carrie
because,
was out of position
I
right
think
there.
Haley was playing quite high up the field, and like Viv, like I'm glad she got a game here, but I think it's been difficult to come back into the team late in the season. I don't think she had a great game here. I think it's just one of those things of like, let's get her some minutes, but really I would be looking at more like Ali Lemos if like Morgan's not available, you know what I mean? Like I think we've got other options, and in this one, for me, it was like, okay, we're very exposed, like I said, Luis, with Haley so high up the field, with playing a very attacking lineup with Summer and Allie, very attacking. We really just didn't have that coverage in front of the back four.
Now, when it comes to the defense, I feel like the defense they're having a tough time also, and we'll discuss that in a little bit when we see the rest of the goals. I mean, they're just kind of having a tough time with defending some of the set pieces too. It just feels like it kind of dragging that, but that is something that the team needs to definitely improve coming to the playoffs.
it was difficult.
Adames into the area, shoots it wide. Going to be a great event, and really interested to see which two teams end up there, Leanne, in that NWSL championship, because right now it's just the standings and the parity in this league all season long make it so hard to predict. You see Gotham FC, a 6th seed last year, going on and winning it all.
And then they go to the
Great
White
goal
House.
by Marta right there.
Like,
Great hustle by the Pride right there.
Amazing as well.
Banda. Watt shoots.
Oh, that was close.
Target. Ali Watt is causing a lot of problems. He has that engine. I always say she's a nightmare to play against. She's one of those players that just does not stop running, and she's got quality as well.
Little trickler gets through to Dickey.
Now, what are your thoughts on Viviana Villacorta? How do you think she did in this game?
I think she was okay at times. I think she just looks a little, I want to say slow, but I don't think she's
getting back into rhythm.
Yeah, she's just obviously not as that like mobile. Like you're coming back from that, injury. It's just you're gonna be what they would say, like you're not at like your peak sharpness, right? You're not match fit. You might be able to play for like 90 minutes, but you've just not played that many games. I think that we saw that from her. I think we know that she's got talent, and we know she's a player that was a big part of the team last season, and I think will be a big part of the team next season. We'll vie for a midfield spot with a few other key talents, but I don't know if in the playoffs if she's the person that we should be looking to. Really, I think, like I said, there's other options that we've used throughout the year, rotating a lot of players in midfield. And we saw that with Angelina coming on for her at halftime, pretty much right after the half, or was it actually at halftime? I think it was right after the half. And yeah, I think you see a big difference when she comes on, but that's just because Angelina does something in our midfield that no one else can do as well. And she creates like no one else can from that deep midfield spot.
Definitely.
It'll be frustrating for her. You can see how she was kind of like, round one, what if?
Jeez. Sorry, I don't have the paid YouTube. Look at that, man. Change of pace, boom. Sees the space. That's a little bit of that Brazilian, that little, like, I don't know, how do you call it?
I feel like when she hit it, she's like, pick this one out. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just, she absolutely smashes it. It's like,
look at this.
Keeper's got no
right
chance.
Here, she does this little
the
flick with her feet. Like, look, right there. Look, you see how she
changes her whole body angle.
Her whole body, she like turns it. Like, that is crazy. Wow. phenomenal.
They think, okay, she's gonna lay it to
Yeah.
Banda. She's gonna keep dribbling, and then she's like, oh, she hasn't got that left-footed angle and shot, and she goes, oh, just watch, let me change my whole position and smash it into the corner. Like that's just what she could do. And losing, like I said, losing the ball a few times, like sparked Marta to for a moment of brilliance. And sometimes that's what it takes, but. I think that's just who she is, right? She's such a passionate player that if
Mhm.
you foul her or you steal the ball of her, she's going to show you a reaction.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. Now, here's the set pieces that I'm talking about.
Let's go. High lofted ball deep in the 6.
Like here, she kind of won the duel with Corey Dyke, And again, we've seen greatness by Corey Dyke this season. Actually, surprisingly so, because she's kind of a newcomer. You know what I mean? And but she's adapted so well to the league. It's unbelievable how far she's gotten. But
Let's go high.
It just seems that there's too many bodies in that area, marking. They're kind of out of position. It seems kind of a little messy there. I don't know how you feel about that.
I think
ball deep in the 6.
I think we're just struggling a little bit sometimes with our defensive positioning, just a little bit.
Look, I'm not trying to nitpick, and I'm not trying to. My intention is not negative. My intention is just to reporting on what I saw. Again, it's just a matter of decision making. There's gonna be times in which you, as the number 9, as a striker, as the star of the team, you take that shot and then you score. But when you have your teammate like wide open, and you're having 2 players coming and being physical with you, just pass it, because Adriana was like right there.
I mean, the way she gets around Jordan Bug there is so impressive.
Yeah, it's
And then
impressive.
you're 100% right. She just needs to use a bit more intelligence there and look up.
Yeah.
Like so much of it when she plays, she just needs to lift her head up. You know what I mean?
Adriana
Like,
had an
she
open
needs
shot
to
on
lift
goal
up.
right there.
But I also kind of blame Adriana. Like Adriana, in my opinion, should be screaming at Barbara, like, leave it. Like
Right.
I got this, because she's in a much better shooting position. And I think Barbara also just, I love that she's like head down, get past people. But once she does, she then needs to lift her head up and look for the better option, because sometimes she'll do this too, where she'll head down, she'll cut, and she'll end up right in the corner.
Right.
And she limits her options. I think that's great to do that, but do it towards goal, or do it towards an angle where you create yourself a passing, a shot angle. Duncan, for example, great at that. Like that's one of the best thing. He's always making a run that then he can open up the shot angle for himself, going past the guy to then open up an angle to shoot. Barbara could do that all day long. She just needs to work on the timing and execution of it.
I just feel like she's gonna hit one full preseason with the Pride, and I guarantee you she's gonna be the next Golden Boot next year.
I mean, if this is year 1, and she's, what, 23 or something, I mean, Barbara's going to be around in the league for a long time, and hopefully have a very successful career where she wins lots of awards.
Yeah. So that was a good chance that the Pride had. So this should have ended up like 4-2, technically, which is still a phenomenal result. I wish City would have ended up 4-2. You know what I mean?
Adriana shoots. Dickey collects.
We got a little baby right there. Jesus. There you go.
The Pride now with 46 goals with the 3 scored
at
tonight,
3-1 and 81 minutes. It would have been nice to just kind of see this game out with a 2-goal cushion.
Correct.
I gotta say, this last goal was like
this right here was.
We could have prevented that.
Again, if Banda would have passed it to Adriana would have shot it, would have scored, it would have been 4-1. And this right here.
And they're still looking for more. Adriana shoots.
again, Adriana
That's
has
like an impossible angle to shoot from, Adriana. Like, that's
yeah, but
wild to shoot
then
from
again,
there
you
with
have
your left
Banda
foot.
right there, man. I mean, you got Banda right there.
But also, I'd say Banda, like I would say, like, look, if she drops back a little bit, this is again another thing. Like, she's so eager to get like the run in
Forward.
front. Sometimes she just needs to have that intelligence to just hold her run. Like when Adriana's ahead of you, just sit right there and the angle opens up, and then you're free. Like, and if not, you drag the defender out of position. Like, it's little things like that that I think Giles, especially, I know will be working on with her to say, like, you need to work on your attacking movement more than anything for her, and that intelligence in the box.
Adriana shoots narrowly.
Cross, and then
We have the players marking the cross in. It's just we're not close enough to actually stop the cross from coming in, and that's the
yeah. So
difference.
there's a hesitation there for Anna right here,
Veronica, let's go.
and yeah, I mean, she kind of
I think she misreads the header.
she
I think
misreads the header. Yeah,
honestly, a looping header from that far
yeah.
out when you're falling backwards like the
That's a
player is,
great header too.
you wouldn't expect it to like be
No
that much
one, of
power on it
course.
and to go in the corner like that. I would expect it to drop in front, like, and that's what she's coming out to win the ball, because she expects it not to go
Veronica, let's go.
so far, and it just kind of beautifully nestles in the corner.
And that was it.
Great header. I
That
would
was
say
the
two
game.
great finishes by the Seattle team.
Yeah, I mean, great finish
Yeah.
with Seattle team for sure. Good to
And
see
great
them back.
finishes
Me,
by us, by Ali and Summer
yeah.
and Martha as well. So
Go by Carriavello, which was well deserved. Golazo by Marta. I mean, this should have ended up 5-2, maybe 4-2, with the chances that were not scored. So I mean, to me, I think the best team in the field won, and
yeah.
yeah, I mean, it
I think we showed our attacking strength in this game. Like, there's definitely some defensive things that we can clean up on, but for me, the important thing, Luis, is that we're scoring multiple goals,
yeah.
creating a lot of chances. Like, I gotta look at our XG. I haven't looked at that, but I bet it's high.
Yeah. So honestly, when it comes to this game, I feel like there's obviously a learning curve defensively to kind of take care of and make sure that doesn't happen in the playoffs. And I think it was a good test going into the playoffs as well. I love the fact that Marta's coming very motivated. I love the fact that Banda as well. Yeah, she missed a couple of chances and assists possibly, but you have to understand she came into the team and was an immediate impact player. And this is the NWSL is the toughest league in women's sports. So I mean, she didn't really have an adaptation period. Her adaptation period was very short. But I feel like, to take the positive out of it, I feel like when she gets a full season, a full preseason with the Pride, I think she's gonna be unstoppable. Like I predict she'll be Golden Boot next year for sure. I think she's not gonna stop to get into an individual accolade for the Pride as well. So yeah. So now we're kind of gonna dive into what was next on the agenda. I think it was playoffs.
Yes. Moving on.
So
Oh,
yeah, moving
actually, no.
on.
We'll talk about Megan and Rafa first.
Yeah. So yeah. Unfortunately, sad news today. It's sad to see them go, but honestly, it's sometimes it's for their own personal reasons. Right here we have the news. You can check out on our Instagram as well. Maya Montefusco retired, announced her retirement. um Haley Carter said Megan's been an important part of the Pride, both in the locker room and in the community. She's been helping a lot, putting the word out for the Pride. I've seen her. I mean, she's a phenomenal athlete. And, she thanked the organization. She signed in 2022 in a trade with Houston Dash. And 45 games in purple, 42 starts, 3,773 minutes, according to to the actual data that I have. And she had a gold in the Challenge Cup of 2023 against Gotham. So she was under contract until 2025. 32 year old. She went under right foot surgery during the off season, and then she was put into the SCI list for the entire 2024 season. So yeah, I mean, she's definitely moving to better things. I can still see her being involved with soccer one way or the other. Um, I mean, I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist, but I kind of see her maybe putting her NWSL career, hanging out the boots here in the NWSL, maybe going to USL, maybe Super League. I don't know.
I think no. I think
Or
it's
no, or maybe
sadly,
it is a pretty bad injury. Maybe
I
I'm
think it's
overlooking.
out of. I think it's off the field stuff.
Okay.
I know that Megan's been doing work with the club on other stuff,
Yeah.
like not player related stuff, things in admin and front office and things. So I think she's been kind of knowing that this has been coming for her for a while, and as sad as it is, it's when you're 31 and you look at your other center back options, it's
Yeah.
very difficult, I think, to look at that and say I want to put my body through this at that age to try and get back in it. So she's had an incredible career. I think she's an
Yeah.
amazing person. I think she's going to be around the club hopefully for a while, and someone that we can bring in an ambassador role, and is always someone with a smile on their face. So sad news, but happy for Megan and this new chapter in her life. It's going to be exciting for her, I'm sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, she's a phenomenal player, and I know the impact that she's made in the team and how tight she's with everybody, even though she's been sidelined, for a while. She was very close with the club, and she's been in a lot of the material for press. So, yeah, hopefully, I would love to definitely see her uh, thriving in whatever other role she decides to take. But I think she's definitely a positive influence to the community. I mean, she's been fantastic. So sad to see her go for sure. And we also have news of today, actually. Um, Raffaele was placed on the season ending injury list.
Our biggest enemy, the
Correct.
three little letters of SEI.
Correct. Um, she has a partial tear in her quadricep tendon in the right leg. That sounds kind of ouch.
I mean, we've been wondering, when she gonna come back? Is she gonna come
Mhm.
back? It just sucks that it's yeah. She's
Yeah,
such a talented player, man. Like when she's fit and going,
yeah,
she's I think one of the better center backs in this league, in my opinion. So hopefully this, I think maybe that's it. Obviously, that's it for this season, but with a full preseason under her belt, 2025 can be a fresh start for Rafa, and we'll
yeah.
see what she can do.
Also, she had Olympics and all of that.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's been a good. It's not, it's just, it sucks for her because I feel like
yeah,
it's one injury after the other. She just
correct.
hasn't been able to have a period this year of like longevity in the team. We thought about it's been Emily and Kylie most of the time, right? But if Hafa was fit, there would be an argument to say she should be in that back
Yeah.
line if she's healthy enough most of the time.
It kind of reminds me, I mean, when she's healthy, she makes an immediate impact. I mean, she's a phenomenal center back. Um, it kind of reminds me. Do you remember Animal Batista from Orlando City? The guy who played in Arsenal.
The massive dude, yeah, I remember.
Yeah, yeah. He would.
Yeah,
Every time he was like not injured, he
yeah.
was
I
actually.
mean, it's Antonio Carlos, right?
Yeah,
There's,
he was scoring goals. Antonio Carlos too.
but this is a lot of the women's game, man. Is plagued with players that are like so good, but they're just constantly injured, and have
Not
to
only that,
retire early. So
it was a busy schedule for women's
yeah,
sports this
it's
year.
it's it sucks for Rafa, and I really hope she can bounce back in next season because when, like we said, when she's fit, she's awesome.
Yeah, for sure. We wish her the very best and a rapid recovery for sure
Yeah.
for Raffaele. Now, let's talk about Chicago. Chicago Red Stars. I know if you want to, there are our opponents. I'm going to share this real quick. Thank you to the attacking third. I stole their image. Orlando Pride against Chicago Red Stars, 8 p.m. November 8th. Historic times for the city of Orlando. The Orlando Pride are in the playoffs, contending for a championship. For the City Beautiful, playing against Chicago Red Stars. Now, we've faced Chicago twice this year. The first time we tied 1-1 at Interco. And then in Chicago, we beat them 1-0. So it's been a roller coaster ride with this team, even though this team, a lot of people say that they're not possibly one of the big contenders. I mean, it's playoffs, is one game or nothing, and anything can happen. What are your first thoughts on this matchup, John, for the Pride?
Well, I mean, I think it's good for us that they've lost the last 3 games. Like I kind of feel for them a little bit because their season ending was, they had to play Gotham, Washington Spirit, and then Kansas City, and now they got to play us. Like they lost 2-0 at home to Gotham, they lost 2-0 away at Washington, and they lost 3-1 at home last week to Kansas City, and then they got to play us in our house. So I think it's just, they're in 8th place. They barely scraped in. Their record for the season is 10-2-14. So, it should be an easier first round for us, right? Like I think it's a team that we know how to beat. We beat them earlier in the season 1-0. They obviously have some threats, but every team that we're going to face in the playoffs is going to have some threats. When you finish first, you get to face 8th, and in this scenario, I do genuinely think that they are the weakest team in the playoffs. Not by a massive margin, but like I would rather play them than Bay. I would rather play them than Portland Thorns, who are just finishing above them. So I think it's a good matchup for us. Obviously, we need to go out there and get business done, but there's absolutely no reason that we can't beat this team.
Yeah, for sure. You have to understand their game comes from their win backs. Malham scored in the first. No, I believe Swanson scored when we tied. Malham had a own goal, which it was given to the Pride, obviously. March 29th was that game at Enerco Stadium. Bike had a couple of good games for them against the Pride. I mean, I won't really say that they are, a massive. I think when it comes to playoffs and it's just one game or nothing, each team is going to be very dangerous because number one, they're going to study you,
of course.
But obviously, on paper, we are the better team. In this game, Luana was playing double pivot with Morgan, and we got Marta as a 10, Angelina on the left flank, and Adriana on the right, and we had Ali Watt as our 10, as our 9. Sorry. So, do you want to see the lineup real quick for that? Yeah. Look, so let's check it out right here. Thank you to all the 45 people watching. Drop us a thumbs up. Appreciate it. So this was our lineup when we tied in Orlando. The back line will stay the same, I believe. I think this is going to be the lineup even now. No Brie Martinez, obviously, but we're probably going to have Corey Dyke. And then, look, we had Luana and Gottschalk right there with Marta as a 10. Angelina and Adriana right there. And this was theirs right here with Schlegel up top, Swanson, Bike, Malham, Roll, Gomez. So all of Sad Word says we need to get it done in 90. Chicago are a chaos team. There you go. Yeah, completely agree. But I also don't want to downplay Chicago. You know what I mean? I think I'll be making a mistake downplaying the opponent. Because sometimes you could be so sure of your abilities, and then what happens if we barely scratch the surface, John? You know what I mean? Then we're gonna look like idiots.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're not the like performing as well as we were earlier in the season, but I think if it comes up against a team like this, we've got a lot more threats than they do. So I think we just need to make sure that we're getting the best out of Barbara and Marta like we saw last game. And in my opinion, we're going to have enough to win this, by more goals than them. We'll probably still concede one or two, maybe like we did against Seattle. But I generally think as long as we're performing our attacking, our usual attacking selves like we saw last game, then we should get enough goals to win.
Now, the last game that we play against them was in Chicago, and we won 1-0 with a Marta goal, and this was the lineup. Morehouse, Dyke, Sam, Strom, Abello, McCutcheon, Angelina, Yates, Adriana, Marta, and Banda. I believe, to me, this will be the lineup that's going to be. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think we're going to be seeing Morgan, or we're going to be seeing Angelina?
I think obviously you got to go full strength, and I think
Yeah,
that depends on
sure.
what Seb views as our full strength. Obviously, last game we were out. Like obviously we're out half of. We know that. We just talked about that. But Carson Pickett was out with a thigh injury last game. I don't anticipate her to be straight back in. I think Carey will maintain that left back. Also, Julie Doyle was out with illness. Hopefully, was a short-term thing, and she's back and available. But outside of that, and the other SEIs that we know about, we should have everybody available to us. In which case, I think this is probably what I would go with. Yeah, I think this is probably our strongest lineup right now. I think Angelina starting is a must for me.
For sure. Yeah.
In every playoff game, I think Corey Dyke has kind of made that right back spot her own. We know
Correct.
Kylie Strom and Emily Sams are incredible partnership. Anna picks herself. Carrie, it's you got to put Barbara and Marta in the starting lineup, and I think Summer is showing she's back in form again. Right, she's back in the creative. Look at that ball from last game. Adriana, always a threat. Maybe Ali Watt after last could be the argument there. Start Ali Watt instead of Adriana, but I think Adriana is like a big game playoff kind of player, and I think starting Adriana and then bringing Ali Watt off the bench with that speed
that's probably the best decision. Yes.
So dangerous as another attacking threat. Same with Julie Doyle. Bring her on when we want to change things up. But yeah, I think Angelina and Haley in the 2D mids. Maybe Morgan if you really want to be a bit more defensive, but I think at our house against Chicago, we got to come out aggressive, and I think starting this lineup is an attacking lineup for sure, but it's defensively solid as well. It's got the best of both worlds, where I think this is our best 11 right now on the field. Yeah.
Mentally, a lot of the players in this squad have been in situations of playing a semifinal, quarterfinal, finals. Like we're looking at about Banda playing the Olympics, Marta and Adriana playing as well. Really big games with Brazil. Also, back when they played in South America, I believe Adriana has a Copa Libertadores as well with her former team. Angelina as well, what she did. Kylie Strom played in La Liga. So, I mean, you're talking about the core of players. There's experience, and there's also first time, youth and grit, I'll say, like Summer Yates, Carrie Bello, Emily Sams, Corey Dyke. I mean, they're players that don't give up pretty easy in situations in which you have to demonstrate resilience and pushing that game to get the result. And I think the Pride are poised to me, this is their best lineup. I think it has defense and offense. I think it's the best lineup that we could put out at the moment. I agree with you wholeheartedly. And now the key component that's going to be very important is you guys over there watching and listening to this show or supporting the Pride, because they're going to need the 12th man. They're going to need the 12th man, 12 woman. They're gonna need you guys. I mean, and I think that's gonna make a huge difference. Now, it's a massive game. It's a historic game. Now, I ask you this question, and I don't want to be a negative Nancy. What happens, John, if they don't get their result?
Well, knock on wood, that doesn't
Knock on
happen.
wood, obviously.
Um,
What will be
no,
your
I mean, I think
reaction?
it'll be a big shame, of course,
Yeah, of
because I
course.
think we want to be a team that wins both, like in a
Correct.
year that really with everything else on this season. I think it'll be a real shame if we go out early like this to Chicago. I think it'd be a real
Hmm.
disappointment.
Yeah,
Because I don't think they have any chance of doing anything. So to
correct.
lose to them would be sucky. But it's one game, anything can happen, and that's why we need to not leave it down to that. We need to make sure that we're winning it by a margin and showing a good performance. Because I really think we're a team that should be in the final, and we should be in the final against a top team in this league. Like after this, like if you go back, Luis, to show the
The bracket
yeah, because it's really it's
right here, right here.
it gets really serious after this
Yeah, of
because
course, because you gotta.
because assuming KC Current beat North Carolina Courage, which they most likely will, we're immediately then playing KC Current after this, which would be in our house. And if we win that, like
You go to the
I don't
final.
want to get too I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. But if we win that, Luis, that is absolutely massive for two reasons. One, you knocked out one of the other favorites, us and them, maybe Gotham, maybe Washington Spirit, probably the top four favorites. You've knocked out a big one. And you've also knocked out the location of the final itself.
Yeah,
So KC would be off the board, and obviously then they can't host. So that means that site then immediately becomes neutral. So whoever we then face in the final, it's a neutral site, quote unquote, and we don't have to play against the home advantage. So that worked out beautifully for us, right? Whereas if, for example, on the other side, if Gotham or Washington get through, they're gonna have to play, in KC get all the way through, then they're gonna play in a
in
scenario really
KC.
where it's an away game. It is, right? So we have the ability if we get through Chicago, which hopefully we will, knock on wood,
I'm sure we
and
will,
and
but
then we're really, in my opinion, it's like the final is the semifinal. I'm sure Gotham and Washington would have something to say about that, but I just think the weight of that match is so huge that then the final is a neutral site, and we gotta sure be another huge team and go one more game. But I think that's the thing. It's crazy to me, Luis, but we're 3 games away, bro.
yeah, we're
Three
three game. Yeah,
three games
three
away,
games
and when you
away.
think about it like that, it's just like how many games did we murder this season, just slaughtering teams week after week, right?
Yeah,
So if we're obviously, in a rough, I'm gonna say rough patch, but I mean, we're not, our form is up and down, but we needed a win right before this. We got that. Confidence is up. All we can do now is go, and if we go and beat Chicago like convincingly, like
hmm
3-0 or something, then we're going into that KC game with home advantage, and it's the ball just keeps rolling. So we need a really good result this weekend, a win regardless, obviously. But if we can do it and build even more confidence, and that's going to be huge.
Yeah, I mean, I've been looking with a lot of outlets. I was checking out the attacking third, and it looks like a Kansas City Current page. It's all Kansas City Current.
There's the
There
league's
was
baby, you
only,
know.
and I'm gonna say
KC
it.
current babies, the league's
I'm just gonna
baby.
say it. I saw only two pictures for the Pride. One Marta, and that's it.
I mean, we've got I'm blanking now for a second. Ex Pride
So
player on there.
I honestly do think
Um,
that winning against Chicago and then beating KC, because we kind of brewed a little rivalry with them either way.
yeah,
Uh,
Darian's on there. That's who. Darian Jenkins. She obviously loves us, but outside of that, we're
yeah,
not the favorites. No, we're not the
yeah,
league's darling, and that's why if we can ruin Kansas City's parade before they
I think we
even get,
should.
like, we can knock them out before they even, obviously we have to, but
You
it,
know,
it's wonderful to me that we've been put on that side with them because
yeah, yeah. I'll give you an
I would hate to
example.
be on the other side.
I'll give you an example, and you got a little. I think when you see this, you're gonna kind of get a little upset, John. But just to give you an example, like look at this beautiful poster, right? Where's the pride here? That they're the Shield winners. Why am I seeing Utah? Um, I'm just saying. I mean, not to talk garbage about Utah. Utah, great. But where's the pride? Because I mean, the pride are the Shield winners. Um, I know
I think
Alex
also it's funny
Morgan.
the NWSL. I mean, the Alex Morgan's on there and she's retired.
Right, she's retired. Like
What?
all I'm
What?
saying is, like a famous rapper called Birdman will say, "Put some respect on my name. Put some respect on my name." Just I just feel like I think this is one of the reasons too that we need to definitely put Orlando on the map. It's a great opportunity for Orlando to totally
Oh,
reshape the playoffs, and not only reshape them, but take them by surprise and just force these people and a lot of the big name pundits to put some respect on their name. Like I feel like it's the right way. It's
I mean,
and
it's Orlando versus everybody.
with
Is
everybody, man.
show the "Of all sad words" quote because that's uh message here, Luis, because that says it perfectly.
Yeah, and then
You
we're
have
gonna
our
be we're gonna be playing. I mean, Washington, mad respect for them. Bay as well, tough battle with them. Every single team here playing like that's how hard this championship is. Every single team in this graphic, it's literally a really good team. You know, uh, they can give a lot of teams in Europe a run for their money,
yeah.
like on any given day.
And with Chicago, of course, it's
Yeah,
Mal Swanson is the biggest issue, but they've got lots more than that. Riccaro, I think, is a great player, and Bike, like we talked about, and the center backs. And Alyssa Nair is always a difficult challenge in herself. So there's a lot to them. I'm just very hopeful about our chances in the postseason. So if we're expecting to win this thing, Chicago is the first easiest hurdle that we got to get over. So let's make sure we get over it.
yeah. I love the trophy too. It's like if the shield looks so beautiful, like look at the trophy, so beautiful, man. It's really
It's gonna be
really
great,
nice.
man. Do we have
Yeah.
any other news around
Well,
NWSL or playoffs?
Temwa Shawinga, um, she won Golden Boot. Um, Won Golden Boot. Well, what are your thoughts, John, regarding Temwa Shawinga? I mean, I think
Yeah, I mean,
she's a phenomenal player.
it was a race between her and like Sophia Smith and
Hmm.
Barbara, and they were all in there early in like mid-season, and Barbara obviously came back from the World Cup and just wasn't firing like, and Chewinga came back and just you know
Killed it.
I don't think she even went, actually, of course, because she's not. I'm correct. She was here the whole time playing in the Summer Cup, but just yeah. I mean, she hasn't stopped scoring. She's a great technical player. She's got speed. She's got physicality. I think she's more lethal than Barbara, I would say, in that sense. Like she does, she gets in attacking positions, and 9 times out of 10 she's going to put it in the back of the net, and that's how
Yeah.
you become Golden Boot winner, and it's well deserved. And yeah, she's going to be a big problem if we play KC, of course.
Part of the Malawi national team, 25 matches with the current, 20 goals, 6 assists, and only one yellow card the whole entire season.
So
Phenom
that's 26 goal contributions in 25 games.
Correct.
So
That
that's
is
more than one goal contribution a game.
correct. That is
I
well
mean,
deserved.
20 goals in 25 is just
That's a
that's
well deserved
insane. That's
accolade,
four
right?
out of 5 games.
Yeah.
4 out of 5 games you score a goal. Like that's madness. That's 80% ratio. Like that's insane. So yeah, of course. She's nuts. She's so good. And yeah, it's gonna be a problem for us to deal with for years to come, I'm sure. But I know everybody thinks the same thing about Barbara. So
Yeah. I think Banda
be
is,
that race, and that competition is gonna keep going year on year.
yeah, I think next year Banda is gonna I definitely see her as a contender for the Golden Boot for sure. Having a whole preseason with a pride will be fantastic.
Trying to think about where Chewinga came in the Ballon d'Or race. Like if she
Yeah, that
was
is so
lower
weird
than
because
anybody else in, it doesn't make any sense, right? Like it just,
I
yeah.
just
Some of
feel,
the ranking of that was so
yeah,
weird.
I think they, I mean, be honest with you, I feel like the United States got shafted here.
I
Um,
think, yeah, I think it's weird that some of it was very Barcelona heavy. I'll say that,
yeah,
and of
and
course they are very talented. But I think it's wild to me that we said this before, that the World Cup winners were not, like Mallory Swanson, number 6, Sophia Smith, number 4, was the highest ranked there. I
yeah,
mean,
that's
I would argue to say that, and Barbara's above Chewinga. Like, where did Chewinga come? She's not even in it. She wasn't even. She
she wasn't even mentioned. Yeah,
didn't even make the top 30 in the world. So that. Oh no, there she is. She's 16th. No,
no,
that's Tabitha Chewinga for Lyon. I don't know if it's
now
related to
these
her.
are the Ballon d'Or winners for the past few years. There's only one American that's won the award. In 2019, Megan Rapinoe won the award. Um, Now the
I mean,
rest
it's
is,
FIFA, bro. What do we
yeah,
expect?
that's what I'm saying. So look, I'm a Barca fan. Like I'm all
Yeah,
Barca, but I
like
by
Bonmati
following
is
the
an incredible player and
yeah,
probably
but
deserves to be number 1.
for
But
sure, I
the
agree with
fact that
you.
there's not an NWSL player in the top 3 is
That
wild
is,
to me.
yeah, that is wild. It is wild, and I think the league, and this is just a desire of mine. I know I am no one to, but it's my desire. It would be cool to ask them for friendly games, pack the stadium, like show them here's our supporter shield winner playing against the team, the Barcelona team, right? The best team in the world, quote unquote, apparently. Let's see what you got. It'd be cool, like as a massive preseason game to kind of also make some money. I think it'd be great. I mean, I would pay to see that. A Pride Barca game. And yeah, I feel like the Ballon d'Or. I think it's weird. I think it's just more. Don't you feel it's a little bit more kind of rewarding, kind of more the European
I
players?
think it's a lot of popularity and a lot of,
Yeah,
I think there's always, it's FIFA. We know that it's, it's not a, let's not even get into that. Repeat a
yeah,
little
yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Uh, and I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about, but your prediction, I don't want to miss out on that against Chicago playoffs. First home playoff game ever, Luis, and first playoff game since 2017. What do you think?
it's gonna be a 4-1 win, Orlando.
I think that's very confident. I like that. I'll say I'll say 3-1.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
it's gonna be a 4-1 win, Orlando. You know, and
I think we'll see a similar attacking display, and
yeah,
maybe we'll concede one, but hopefully we'll be a bit more defensively solid.
I'm sure they'll check the tape of the last game and
Yeah.
see where they made some kind of.
Yeah. And I think that's good that we're in a like fighting mode right now. We're
Yeah,
not like in a comfortable like, oh, we're feeling really good about ourselves. We're feeling like we need to keep improving every game.
yeah,
And we know that when the team is in that mode, and also like let's not underestimate when they're going into playoff mode. I feel like we haven't seen this version of Orlando Pride ever in a
ever,
game that
ever,
matters this much, right? Like
ever. Yeah,
ever. Like the Summer Cup, we weren't really
it
that
was their
invested.
B. It
We
was
were
their B
playing our
team.
rotation
It
players,
was their B team,
right?
and we almost made it.
Yeah, right. Like we weren't. Obviously, we've seen them for their national teams this year in crucial games for US, for Brazil, for but for Barber as well. But for the Pride, every game in the season matters. But this is do or die time now.
Yeah,
This is everything or nothing. So I
it's
hope we
been
see the do you see us now? I hope we see that
yeah.
out there out. Take
I
that
think
phrase, and if that's a good one. There you go, Luis. There's a great playoff for slogan for you.
yeah. Do you see us now? Is better than old teeth.
Yeah, definitely.
Right, but what I was gonna say, um it's been a soap opera this season for the Pride. There's been moments of extreme joy. There's been moments of extreme resilience that they've overcome that hurdle. It's been, I think the fans, they have gained so many fans this year. I think is that's just historic in itself. The camaraderie, you're like, I was actually talking, and I know I'm not supposed to say this, but I'm just gonna say it. I was talking to, they called me from the Super League, and the camaraderie they're having, USL teams with USL Super League women's teams. It's pretty cool. And Orlando now, it's also having this huge chance of, and I command the ILF and the ruckus, and go and support the Black Swans, go support the Pride. I mean, it is a massive thing. You guys will be setting an example for the rest of the league. It will be amazing to see you guys there. And it's been a roller coaster ride. It's been, I'm sure, moments of frustration for the players, moments of bliss, moments of happiness, but this is it. And like the slogan says, do you see us now? This is it. This is the moment of them that they've been preparing this whole long ass season, that even Haley said they didn't even have time to celebrate, right? For this moment. Now, so now this is the beginning of them doing their work and being noticed. Do you see us now? All the pundits, the brand exposure that they're going to be getting worldwide. And I think it's going to be, to me, I am ready to say that I think they're going to, after watching this season and covering the season with the Pride, I feel that they are mentally ready for this. I could wholeheartedly say this. And I just can't wait to see them, lifting that trophy, hopefully. So it's gonna be great, and historic season, especially after what happened with Marta too in the Olympics. I think it's gonna be fantastic.
For sure. And I hope everyone went out and voted today. And
Yeah.
we will see you all this weekend for the playoffs. Luis, you want to do the socials?
Yeah, we have all of Sad Words. He has a comment, says no one likes this, no one likes this, and we don't care. There you go.
Yeah.
We need to get it done in 90. Alonso says it was a bad foul. That's my team, Rain FC. There you go, man. Unbelievable. This guy.
He's joking.
Who's winning the elections? Come on, man. I don't want
He's
to talk
just hanging
about.
out. I love it.
So we are available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Thank you so much for listening. If you're listening, thank you for your support. We're available on X as LP_podcasts, on Instagram at LP_podcasts, Facebook, Loud and Proud Orlando, and YouTube, LP_podcast, Loud and Proud Orlando. Thank you for your support. We're going to continue providing the best content possible for you guys, even in the off season. Where I'm going to be putting out, I have some info on, how Alex Kerr is doing in Italy, and we're going to be putting out some videos of how some of the Amanda Allen in Lexington is doing in the Super League, and all of that is that extra content that I'm going to be putting out for you guys. Especially in the off season when there's no Pride games. Hopefully, boasting a beautiful trophy and a beautiful Supporter Shield trophy as well, right there on our arsenal of trophies there, John. Pride will have 2 trophies, and City will have 1.
Wow, man, you mean
It's amazing,
one
right?
game at a time. You get me all excited now. So,
Hold on, man. I'm getting all jittery, man. But anyways, thank you guys for your support. And vamos Pride.
Vamos Pride.
Vamos Pride.
See you
Take care,
guys on Friday.
Don't forget.
I kept thinking Saturday, but it's Friday. Saturday.